I am absolutely delighted to have Elaine McDermott as our guest for this third segment. Elaine McDermott has produced loads of poetry, volumes of poetry, and she's here to present her newest book. It's called By the Rivers of Babylon, and it's got some just marvelous poems. And I can hardly wait to have her read some and tell us a little bit about her career as a poet. So Elaine, tell us about your interest in poetry.
Well, I think that began as a child. My grandmother used to read to me a lot nursery rhymes. I couldn't get enough of them, and that gave me a sense of rhythm and rhyme, and it just made me want to read poetry, write poetry, and I actually didn't start writing much until I was in high school. And then I began writing, and of course, after retirement, it was much easier to write a whole lot more, and I think I have written most of my poetry after that time.
And that's wonderful, and your poems are so marvelous. So tell us, what kind of subjects, what stimulates you to write a poem?
Well, there's so many things. Often, I get a lot of my poetry by listening to people. Someone can just say a little phrase that catches me, and next thing you know, I've got a poem out of it. A lot of my poetry has to do with loss and longing, and I have that in there. And it just, you know, poetry, of course, is an experience. And you take that experience and then you kind of season it with imagination. And if you're lucky, your reader will internalize that experience and claim it for his own. And of course, I think that's the ambition of every writer. If you can evoke an emotion in your reader, then you're happy.
Absolutely. I love poetry. And I find I write in all genres, including poetry, and I find it takes me a year to write, say, a book, maybe a month to write a short story, but a poem, you write it over and over and over, because every word has to be perfect.
Exactly. You have got to find the exact word, and it's not unusual for me to spend a day looking for a word, changing it, going back to it.
All of the author's books are available through my website,